Can I get a passport for my child if I'm divorced or separated from the other parent? Yes, you can. And in this short video, I'm going to describe how to do that because it's going to depend on sort of different factors in terms of how you go about getting a passport for your son or daughter, okay? By way of a quick intro, the challenge with passports is simply this. Number one, you're dealing with oftentimes high conflict, disagreeable parents, right? It is family law, unfortunately. Sometimes there's that. There's disagreement and inability to work together. The other challenge with the passport issue is you're basically dealing with two different sort of government systems sort of trying to work together or meshing together. The State Department of federal government basically, deals with passports. But then in terms of sort of a lot of the legal authority, in family law, right, that's basically state courts dealing with things like parenting time and custody of kids. And, they don't necessarily mesh well together. And particularly even just kind of the language that is used in the federal kind of passport system versus the language that is used in, where I am, Illinois family law, it's not the same. And so, you kind of have to basically figure out solutions in family law court that sort of make the passport stuff happen, okay? So let me dig into three common situations so you know how to get a passport for your kid depending on which of these three general situations you are in, okay? Number one, the parents agree on getting a passport, okay? Simple. I don't need to spend that much time in it. The parents go down to the federal building in downtown Chicago together and get the passport. Done. Another, situation where if you guys both agree, if you go to the State Department website with regards to passports for minors, there's a consent form the other parent can basically just sign off, notarize, with identification. And, I as just, parent by myself can get it if I have my wife's or, the mother of my child's consent, okay? So that's box number one in terms of how to get a passport. Parents agree, you go down there and get it together, or there's a consent form with the State Department, okay? That's the easiest way to do it if you can thread that needle, okay? Parties, parents in agreement, okay? Second, somebody has legal authority to get the passport, okay? So now I'm talking about in the custody judgment that I'm preparing, one of two things needs to exist, okay? Either I have sole custody of the child, of my child, therefore simply having that legal verbiage, Peter has sole custody of his son Johnny, that allows me to get a passport. Alternatively, even if I had more of a joint custody with the mother or the other parent, as long as there's specific language in a custody judgment or what we call allocation judgments that says Peter has the legal authority to apply for little Johnny's passport, I have the authority to do that, okay? I have the authority to get the passport. So that's scenario number two, where I have legal authority. Either I have sole custody of my kid, or B, even if I don't have sole custody, on all aspects of life, there is legal authority within a custody judgment that says I have the power to get a passport, okay? So, can you get a passport for your kid? If you agree to it, it's easy, and I described how to do that. Number two, you need to have a judgment, basically an order that gives you legal authority to do it. Now, let me talk about one final thing. What if you don't have legal authority, right? What if there's nothing in court, or there's nothing in your current, divorce judgment or custody judgment that provides for it, okay? So let me talk about an unmarried parent situation just to wrap this, okay? If there is not a father listed on the birth certificate, you have legal authority to get a passport, okay? However, if the father is listed on the birth certificate and there's nothing in court, i.e., you've never gotten legal authority, then you either need to get the other parent to agree to it, and then you're in scenario number one, or if he won't agree to it, or you don't know where the other parent is, then basically you need to start a case to get yourself legal authority. In other words, that sometimes for us is a big reason why people actually start a case. Either, at the very beginning, or simply it wasn't put in a judgment originally and now you need to add it or modify your judgment, okay? So let me wrap this FAQ video. Can you get a passport for your child? If you guys agree, you sure can. Secondly, you need to get legal authority, and it needs to be in your custody judgment some way, or you have to have sole custody. And then lastly, if you don't have that legal authority, you need to start a case, or you need to modify your custody judgment to provide for legal authority to get that passport.